Hi, welcome back. This is the second video for your categories data handling workshop in Excel. In this video, I will show you how to create a frequency table for categorical data such as the one we've got here. Now, the reason why we create these frequency tables is because the first step that we usually take when we've collected some data, such as in the data set that you see here, is that we summarize and get an overview of this data. And the best way to summarize categorical data, or the only way really to categorize summarize categorical data, is to look at how many times each of these different nominal options has occurred. Okay, so as you know, categorical data can be either nominal or ordinal. Now in this case, we have a nominal data type here in answer options 2, which was dietary preference of people, vegetarian, vegan, etc. And then in answer question 1, we asked them on a scale of 1 to 7, how much do you agree with the notion that supermarkets should be reducing their plastic use? That is an ordinal data type here. And both of those are categorical, and the best way that we can summarize this data is to look at how many times did each of these options within the categories occur. Okay, so we have options 1 through 7 in question 1, so 1 being strongly disagree and 7 being strongly agree, and in answer 2 we have options A through F, if I remember rightly, which represent the different dietary preferences for people. What we want to know is how many times did each of these options get chosen, and that's what we do using a frequency table. Now, I will create one of those, a few columns over from the data, starting with the different answer options. So I'll just write them down, the different answer options that we had. I'll give it a header because I want to know what each of them is. So we have answer options 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for question 1. And then for question 2, we had A, B, C, D, E, and F. What these stand for, the different dietary preferences, and what these are coded as, you can look up in the instructions for the data collection rally. And these were 2 different questions for the answers. This is all question 1, and this is all question 2. Now, you don't have to type these every time. You can actually drag this number down by using this little box on the side, and then you get the same number in each of those cells. Okay, and now I've got basically the raw format of this frequency table, and I can start counting how many of the different options were chosen. Now we already sorted the data so that all of the people who have answered question 2 with A, as in no preference for diets, first, and then we have all of the people who answered that question with B next, down here. So that's quite convenient because it helps us count these cells. So the cells basically represent people. Okay, that's person number 1, person number 2. So I can see how many people chose that option just by counting the number of cells that have an A in them in this column, basically. Now there's a very sort of easy and very basic way of doing that, which is just to highlight all of the cells with an A. Okay, so I'm clicking on the first cell with A, I keep the mouse down, and then I drag my cursor all the way down to the last A. Gone past it a little bit, which is down here. And then in this little box on the side, next to my cursor there, you can see 112R, which means rows, by 1C, which is columns. That tells me that there are 112 rows, so that means 112 people who have answered the question with A. Okay, if I let go, that little box disappears, but the count is still visible down here, and it says count 112. That means 112 people have answered that they have no dietary preference. So I'm going to create a third column here called frequency, in which I record how many people actually have said A here. That's 112. Okay. Now I can do the same with B. Go down here, and I'll highlight all of these cells that have a B in them, which amounts to 25. Okay. Count is still down here as well. So I'll go back up and I enter 25 here. Now if you do the rest for the rest of this column and then come back to the next video and I'll show you how to resort the data and do the same for the other column.